Miss Waring got here before you. This is Mrs. Brooks and Miss Lester.
Hello. How do you do?
Hello. Sit down. I'll go and tell Mrs. Spencer you're here.
What do you think of it? We've only just got here. That's why it hits you, isn't it? Cool. When they shut those great gates behind me.
I felt like a murderer.
I felt like an animal in a zoo. I felt, Christ, they know how to keep them in.
They've locked 6 different doors to get us in here.
I was watching how they enjoy doing it. If I were a prisoner here, I'd be thoroughly depressed. Yeah, but they're not, though, are they? I mean, look. Jeans and blouse open to a navel. I don't know who they think they're going to attract. One whistled at me.
I don't know why. I expected it to be darker inside.
Yeah, to match the outside. I suppose we shall get used to the smell. Reminds me of hospitals. Soap, disinfectant and bodies. And damp, you can smell the damp. Well, there hadn't ought to be. The heat they keep it at. Different from my last job. Frozen half the time. On the buses. What do you do? I was a secretary. I got fed up squeezing past people and ruining my hands sorting out the change. Plays hell with your nails. So I saw this ad and I liked the uniform and I thought, what's the difference? I'm dealing with thieves and thugs all day long. You'd be surprised the number who try get off without paying. And the way they threaten you when you tell them. So I thought, I might as well get in the prison service proper. Get a free room and get my nails back. Oh, you're in officers' quarters too, so am I. Yeah, I didn't think they'd be half as good. Cost all of 12 quid a week anywhere else if you could get it.
I live in Mayworth Road, about 5 minutes walk. My youngest daughter has gone to college, so I've got time now. Ever since I saw Stone Park, it's what I wanted to do.
Why?
I've seen them on my way to work being let out in the mornings. It's all right for those who've got somebody to meet them, but there's a lot who hasn't. Well, I just wanted to come in and somehow to help.
Yes. Well, I just felt that I could be of more help in here than in a company director's office.
Good morning, ladies. I'm Mrs. Spencer, your training officer. Welcome to Stone Park.
Thank you.
Mrs. Brooks?
Yes?
Nice to have you with us. Miss Waring?
That's me.
I hope you'll like Stone Park.
I do so far.
Oh, good. And Miss Lester, I hope you'll be happy here.
Thank you.
Well, before we sit down, give me your handbags. Security first. It's got to become second nature in this job to lock away everything that prisoners shouldn't have access to. Thank you. Now, would you like to put your coats in as well? You won't be needing them. You'll be going down to the storeroom shortly to be fitted out with overalls and badges, just so that we can tell you from the prisoners.
So very much.
I don't know if it'll make you feel better or worse, but this is my first day too.
Go on.
Oh. I mean as a training officer. Been in the service for years, of course. So you see, it's as important to me that you succeed as it is to you. Now, first let me say that if you have any difficulties at all, little or big, don't hesitate to come to me straight away so that we can iron them out. Right?
Right, thank you.
Sit down. You'll find there are new problems every day in this job. I still do. However, you're here as observers. You won't have any decisions to make. You'll spend days on every wing and in every place of work learning how they run. And then each day, we'll have a session together to discuss what you've learned. And in the evening, we would like you to write up what you've been doing each day in these logbooks. Oh, 2 or 3 pages, no more. And include your reactions to what you've done.
Reactions?
Yes, it's helpful to know how you feel about what you're seeing. And the governor will be reading them, and the deputy governor, Mr. Radley. He's in charge of the Pouts training programme. I thought that would cheer you up.
Excuse me, may I ask?
As often as you like, Mrs. Brooks.
You said the Deputy Governor was in charge of something?
Oh, the Pouts training programme. You are the Pouts. Prison officers under training.
Pouts.
Good morning, Mrs. Spencer.
Good morning, Chief. This is the Chief Officer, Mrs. Armitage. It's Miss Waring, Mrs. Brooks and Miss Lester, Chief.
Yes, I remember. I was on the selection committee. Best wishes in your new job, ladies.
Thank you.
Have you got the papers?
Oh, yes.
Right. Before we go any further, ladies, I would like you to sign this declaration. It's an extract from the Official Secrets Act to say that whatever you get to know in the prison service, you will not divulge to any unauthorised persons. That means you won't be sending your story to the newspapers. Prisoners can, but we can't. What's more, it means that whatever lies a prisoner gets put into print when she gets out, we're not allowed to put our side of the story. Is that clear?
Yes.
Thank you.
It's just as well, because not one of you read that before you signed it. Now, it's a very common thing, isn't it, to trust people. So when they ask you to sign something, you do. But you've come into a job where that easy-going attitude won't wash. You'll be dealing with offenders. Most of them have some good points, but if they can take advantage of you, they won't hesitate. So, learn the rules. They are made so that prisons run smoothly and for your protection. Keep them, and you can't go wrong.
That's right.
Now, you'll be working in a high-security prison. That means that we have to see that the prisoners are kept in the place. We can't hope to treat them if they've all jumped over the wall. So if a door is locked before you unlock it, lock it behind you. If a door is open, ask yourself why. And if you can't think of a cast-iron reason why it should be open, then lock it. You won't be given any keys or any real responsibility until you get back from the training college at Wakefield. But I want you to get into the habit of thinking this way. Courteous, but cautious in your dealings with the prisoners. Careful about rules and regulations, and certain about security. Have you got that?
Yes.
Yes.
Good. Once you have, the rest of your training will come as natural as breathing. Thank you, Mrs. Spencer.
Thank you, Chief. Well, now, have you any questions? I said, have you any questions?
When do we have uniforms?
Well, with a bit of luck, they should be ready for you when you come back from Wakefield. You'll do 8 weeks training there, but you'll have 5 weeks here first.
Wakefield, that's in Yorkshire.
Yes, the training college is bang opposite Wakefield Prison. Oh, you'll have a lovely time. There's over 100 men to every 10 women on these courses.
Do we mix?
Oh, certainly. Training for men and women officers is the same. All the lectures and the judo are taken together. The PT's a bit different, though, but you'll have done a lot of yours by the time you get to Wakefield. You'll be going for a week to Harville's prison for physical training.
Harville's, the men's prison?
Yes, in 3 weeks' time. They've got a marvellous gym there. And Mr. Pearson, that's the instructor, he's very good. Ex-army sergeant. Balls like a foghorn, but gentle as a lamb.
The driver of my bus said to me, you don't know what you're letting yourself in for, girl.
Well, let's find out then, shall we? Miss Waring, would you put these chairs back there for me, please? Thank you. Now, for the next couple of days, your main location will be Mrs. Brooks in the kitchen, Miss Lester here on South Wing, and Miss Waring in the canteen.
Canteen?
Well, it's more a sort of shop where the prisoners can spend their wages. And we'll all meet back here at 2 o'clock this afternoon. Miss Sweeney, look after Miss Lester, would you? She's attached to this wing. Right. Come on, girl.
Hello, Mrs. Spencer.
Oh, good morning, sir. The new house.
Good morning.
That was the Deputy Governor, Mr. Wright. Remember, when you meet her, you address the Governor as Madam, the Deputy as Sir.
Morning, Chief.
Morning.
What's outside the cells?
Been giving them your introductory.
Oh,
What sentence I've got? Generally, the two
they get jammed these days, don't they? When I first started, I got keys right away. Next day, I was helping to hold a woman down while they put her into a straitjacket. Learn by doing the job.
Ah, it's a different job these days, and it's a different type of person.
Oh, yeah?
We know what I mean.
Oh, yeah. My salt's as dead as the dodo. All officers should have degrees.
Now, don't exaggerate.
Well, we shall see. We've got one this time with a good education and one who's a sensible mum type, which is what we really need.
Sensible mum types with a good education. That's the ideal, Chief. You know, Chief, I have a vision of the perfect Stone Park prison officer. Tall, good-looking.
Not our Ian we're running.
No, seriously. Tall, because tall people have less problems with discipline. Good-looking, because people are attracted by good looks. And with a couple of years' study of social sciences.
Yeah, that's why I go down so well.
All right, you win. First priority, personality and common sense.
See that girl over there? She's had educated welfare officers round her ever since she was 4, when all she needed was a good mum.
Well, she's been extremely quiet since she got here.
Oh, she's just getting her energy back. She broke the window of the governor's office, blacked one officer's eye, broke 2 ribs of another officer before they packed her onto us.
Well, she's agreed to see a psychiatrist here, hasn't she?
She's had more psychiatrists than I've had hot dinners.
Ah, what can anyone do? No parents, no purpose in life, no skills, so she can't get a decent job. She starts stealing again the minute she gets out of here. What can we do?
Get her a good husband.
Looking forward 20 years or so, I can imagine a time when the welfare department in prisons will run a marriage bureau service.
Well, it's the only service we don't run. Alcoholics Anonymous, Gambles Anonymous, drugs withdrawal, family planning, marriage guidance, childcare, cookery. Why don't we get them a man to practice it all on?
Yeah.
They all have to clean their own cells. They're inspected every day in the morning. Cindy Swales, it's work time.
Oh, really? How much do you get for what you do?
No more than you would if you decided to take a steady job when you got out.
I wouldn't mind being a screw.
Get up, Cindy, and put that cigarette out.
Why do you want to be a screw, miss?
To help people like you.
The only way you'll help me is by keeping away from me.
Come on, Cindy, back to work.
If I can have the goldfish, I will.
What do you mean, have the goldfish? With chips for dinner?
Oh, Miss Winnie, please, you know what I mean. Look, in my cell, I like 'em. I'd look after 'em.
They belong to the wing, for everybody to enjoy.
I asked that Miss Parrish if I could buy 'em some food. She said I could spend 10 pence a week on 'em.
Oh, that was very good
Oh,
of
you
you.
put me off, miss.
It is very good
It's
of
like a
you.
mortuary in here, 11 hours every night.
If you will go lashing out at people, how can you expect anyone to share with you?
Women in here drive me up a bloody wall. Breathing and groaning and smelling. Look, please, miss. I'm taming the goldfish, let me have 'em. Please, Miss Winnie, I'll work real well, I will.
It's not in my power to let you have them, Cindy. And even if it was, I wouldn't.
Why not?
Because I don't bribe prisoners into doing what I tell them to do.
Well, I'm not doing no more work this morning.
Perhaps you're not feeling very well.
That's right, I'm sick.
I'll put you down for the doctor then. So you'll be locked in your cell for dinner. No association, no telly, no games, no dancing. He might order you to stay in your cell for 3 days, and he might prescribe an aperient.
What's that?
Laxative to you.
You're hard and you are.
Beginning to feel better?
All I wanted was the goldfish to brighten up the room a bit. Look, I haven't even got a picture for me wall.
I'll get you some magazines you can cut some pictures out of.
Will you?
Just as soon as you scrub that dictionary off.
You won't live till your pension. Do you know that, Miss Sweeney?
Be careful with her. She'll soon knock you over the head as torture.
I thought it was lovely the way she wanted the goldfish. Couldn't she have them?
She could put her head in the tank and drown herself. Or she could use a glass to cut her veins. Or somebody else's.
Good heavens.
Then whoever let have it will be in real trouble.
But I'm sure she genuinely likes the goldfish.
That's what she wants you to think. Always try to work out what's the very worst thing they can be up to. Then you won't get caught out. Or at least not so often.
I don't believe you can get the best out of people by suspecting that they're acting from the worst motives.
I don't expect to get the best out of them. What I try to do is not get the worst.
Behind the scenes, but the whole thing is very similar to that, you see. Well, it's not just a matter of giving them what you think. You have to do it according to a recognised diet by according to regulations.
My last time was served in the world's canteen, but this is better than most people buy for themselves.
Well, it has to be. I mean, some of them are here for years. Their health depends on it.
Breakfast: porridge, milk, bread, butter, jam. Lunch: braised beef, carrots, potatoes, apple pie, tea, Welsh rabbit.
Ah, well, you see, I never do the same main meal more than once a fortnight. If you vary the menus, it helps to relieve the monotony of the sentence.
I never thought about that.
Ah, well, if you're interested in catering, it's a good side of the service to be in. I mean, at least you know your hours. It's not any old time like the discipline officers. They sometimes spend up to 100 hours a week escorting prisoners to court. Hurry up. Keep an eye on the women. See there's no communication with the men. Morning, Charlie. What, chef? What have we got here, then? 10 weights of potatoes, 2 in red onion, 1 crate of tulips, 2 crates of lettuces, 2 of tomatoes. Well, I hope they're better tomatoes than last week. I want them for salads and not for cooking, no?
I think you'll find it all right.
That's one of my pouts.
It's according to the job they do. Some get about 40 pence a week, some about 80, and they're allowed to spend £5 of their private money as well if they want.
I can't understand why they're not allowed to handle the money, though.
Too easy for others to steal. I reckon if they handle cash, they'll always be trying to smuggle money in so they can buy more. As it is, they can't have more than they're entitled to.
It's a lot of paperwork, though.
Not so bad as it seems. Just look down the sheet to see how much they've got to spend, take it from what they buy, and write down the amounts that's left. That's all.
We're here, Miss Cato.
All right. Come in, Myrtle. Oh, only 3 at a time, please, ladies. Orderly, the way I like it. If you add up what they buy, I'll write it down.
Yeah, right.
Oh, you've been saving, Myrtle.
I've got £3.87, Miss Cato.
To the penny, well done.
I've only got 43p, 3 days loss of earnings.
Just a bag of barley sugars, please, Miss Cato. Oh, and another 2 ounces of the same wool, please, for next week.
Where's the wool, then?
Oh, I shall have to go to the shops to buy that. Because we don't charge till we've got whatever it is.
You allowed time off to go to the shop?
Well, no, I do it with my own shopping. Make a list of what they want that we haven't got and do it all at the weekend.
With your own money?
I'll get it back. So that's 15 pence barley sugars, Myrtle?
16.
Oh, so it is. Sorry, Myrtle.
That's all right, Miss Cato. You've got a sharp eye, miss. A nice officer you'll make.
Just take these 4, Miss Carter. They're 10p each, so that leaves me 3p.
5 more.
5? She's got 5. Empty that pocket. You say I'm trying to pinch something or something? I wouldn't be a bit surprised.
Let's
I want to
have
know
a
what she had
look,
to
Mo.
say. You accusing me of stealing?
Nobody's accusing you of anything,
Miss
Mo.
Cato's just made a little mistake about my barley sugar, Moll. Maybe you made a mistake about your number of
I'm not
bars.
having them. Any of them. I'm not been accused of stealing. Well, you can't be now, can you? With them scattered all
Bloody
over the
Pat,
place.
you just
Sure, I'm
watch
glad
it.
I got you threatening me.
I wouldn't
Cool
lose
down,
admission for you, you bitch.
Well, you better watch your foul
You
mouth,
just go
then.
and talk to people the way you do it. It's you'll be up in front of the governor. It's not allowed, you know. Officers being insolent to prisoners. She's only young, Moll. And new. She'll learn. Give her time. She will learn. Just get out of here. Leave me alone. Thank you, Miss Waring.
No. Who's next?
Mr. Jackson, I sometimes think that a good chef is more to make a happy prison than anyone else on the staff.
Than anyone.
Anyone. Well, that's very nice. Very nice, thank you. How's your How doing, Chef?
Oh, got a lot to learn.
What about Mrs. Brooks and Miss Waring? They've both been with you, haven't they?
Yes, all of them. They've got a lot to learn. Excuse me, please, my vegetables. Morning, Charlie. A little bit late. Morning, Chef. I hope that doesn't mean to say we're short or something.
Why don't you, sir?
I bet you, if you asked his opinion of the governor, he'd say, she's got a lot to learn. Well, we all have, haven't we? She's got 3 languages, top speeds in shorthand and typewriting, earns 5,000 a year over in Brussels. It's a waste.
Oh, perhaps she wanted a more worthwhile job. After all, why did you join?
Because I had an invalid husband and a young baby to take care of. I wanted a safe job with a pension.
Get away.
I'm telling you, I didn't come in here with stars in my eyes expecting to do good to people.
Perhaps that's why you have.
Have I? The old officers used to say that if you could help one inmate during the whole of your service, well, it was worth it.
Right, so you've done your quota.
I don't know. I mean, what do? We try to make them fit into a routine that's like nothing else they'll have to face outside, then tip them out and expect them to lead a normal life.
Perhaps we're making sure there'll be plenty coming back. Keep our jobs going.
What other reason could there be?
Come on, darling. Come on, eat your dinner. There's a good boy. Come on, Georgie, come on. Georgie, come on, eat dinner. Come on.
Well, that's the idea, to give you all some practice. You have to speechify sometimes in this job, you know. Get their attention and hold it. And you've only got to do it in front of the other 2 pals.
All right, Georgie, now, jump. Come on, Georgie, jump.
Tell that girl to get on
Jump.
with her work, will you?
Come on, jump. Oh, you're not stupid. Come on, jump. Jump, come on. Come on, Georgie, jump.
Miss Spencer, will you please get on with your work?
Come on, Georgie, come on. Come on, darling.
Don't you like goldfish?
Oh, don't be bloody daft.
Switching about like that in the water isn't going to do them any good.
What do you know about it?
My daughter's got a tank of tropical fish that I look after when she's away. I've got some spare water plants. I'll bring
We
some
don't
back.
want your water plants. That ain't gonna get me back to work. It's niggers' work, cleaning.
Oh, I do plenty of cleaning.
Well, get on with it then. You're all coming over here taking our job. So I have mine and the 40p a week what goes with it.
Get on with your work, Cindy, or you'll be on report, sure as I've got relatives in Edinburgh.
For a white woman, maybe. For a coon, never.
It's past your lunch hour, Mrs. Brooks. You should remind me when I forget. I'll be back sharp. Mrs. Armitage and Mr. Radley are going to give you all a talk this afternoon.
Bloody ordering whites about.
You got it wrong, girl. Some of them black officers the best we got.
That's true, Cindy, they are.
I find out where I can hit them hardest. Don't matter to me if they're black, blue or pink. I hate a lot of them.
No, Cindy. Save your hate for the ones that really deserve it.
I've written my logbook. It's too cushy in here. It's been a real shock to me.
I couldn't stand it if I were a prisoner.
Stand what? 3 square meals a day, no rent, no work if you don't want it, and ping pong and dancing every evening.
It's like keeping hens in batteries.
There's plenty of old age pensioners worked hard and kept honest all their lives, don't get the comforts this lot get.
Well, if I had my way, I'd let them all out again. And they'd be just as locked up outside as they are in prison.
I don't get you.
Well, most of them are in the poverty trap. Slums, low-paid jobs, too many children, and no way of getting out of it except stealing or drink or drugs.
So why be sorry for them when they get in here? It's better for them. Here, you're late.
I was late going.
Lucky Big White Chief didn't get here before you.
I quite like the chief.
Oh, it's blooming ridiculous. Calling a woman chief. Makes me feel like a ruddy red Indian. Yes, Chief. Ooh.
He's calling the governor madam that sticks in my throat.
Like a maidservant. Yes, madam.
I'm not bothered about them. It's managing the prisoners.
They're no problem. Make them stick to the rules. If they don't, report them.
Would you always do that? In all circumstances?
Of course I would.
But even if you felt the rules weren't fair sometimes, wouldn't you ignore them?
And get myself in a spot? I damn well wouldn't. Would you?
I don't know. Would you, Joyce?
I don't know.
If you put that in your logbook, you'll be out.
Well, I'm sure there are lots of things in my logbook they won't like.
So why put them? They're picking on every word you write, weighing you up. So why not give them what they're looking for?
How do you know what they're looking for?
Good afternoon, ladies.
Good afternoon, Chief.
Afternoon. Sit down, please. Make yourselves comfortable. You can smoke if you like. So, been here a week. Does it feel that long?
Longer.
Feels like a year.
No, just a week.
Why does it feel like a year to you, Miss Lester?
So many experiences. That's all so different. There's a lot I didn't expect.
Yes? Could you give us an example?
Well, the relationship between officers and prisoners is much more friendly than I imagined. I was pleased about that.
You think staff and prisoners should be friendly?
I don't.
No, Miss Waring.
Well, if you get too chummy with them, I think you're no better than they are. You'll get no respect from them then.
Perhaps that's the difference between being friendly and being too friendly.
Oh, yes, it is. I'm sure it's easier for a prisoner to agree to do as you ask if you like them and they quite like you.
What about when they don't like you and you can't do anything about it?
I don't think liking them comes into it. Just be fair and treat them all the same.
They won't let you, though.
What do you mean?
You ask one to do something and she does it. You ask another to do the same thing and she won't. What do you do then?
Report her.
The first time she refuses?
Well, I'd ask her maybe twice. And I'd tell her if she refuses that time, I'll report her. And I would.
I've sometimes spent hours trying to persuade a woman to do something she didn't want to.
Why is
You
that?
have?
Well, quite a few reasons. First, if every prisoner were reported every time after refusing to do something twice, we'd have so many reports the governor would get nothing else done during the day. Second, if an officer gets a lot of reports, it looks as if she's not managing the prisoners too well. Third, if we have a lot of reports, it creates a bad atmosphere with less and less cooperation. And fourth, some women, after they've been reported, simply make matters worse by smashing the place up. So we don't go in for reports, not unless we have to.
If you take the trouble to reason with a prisoner, she'll realise that you're not anxious to put her on report. She'll appreciate that. Most times she'll come round.
Yeah, but if they think you're avoiding reporting them, they'll play on it. Might get high-handed.
Ah, yes. Now, that can happen. And if it does, you're right, Miss Waring. You have to put in a report. But try using your powers of persuasion first.
But if somebody's actually broken a rule, well, like, for instance, sawing through the bars, I mean, you'd have to report them then, wouldn't you?
Undoubtedly, Miss Lester, instanter and without further ado. If there has been an offence committed, then you've got no option. But if you can prevent them from committing it, one up to you.
I suppose I've got extra difficulties.
Well, I don't know if any of you have any questions. Miss Lester?
No, thank you, sir.
Miss Waring?
Because if not, Miss Waring, Mr. Radley and I could do with a cup of tea.
Yes, Chief.
Miss Lester, would you mind collecting those timesheets from the centre office, please?
Yes, Chief.
Just a minute, Mrs. Brooks. What are your extra difficulties, Mrs. Brooks?
It's just, well, I suppose some prisoners are bound to be prejudiced against black people.
You've come across that, have you?
Yes. Mrs. Spencer told me to ask Cindy Swales to get on with her job, and she refused because I'm black.
Oh, she's just as likely to refuse me because I've got grey eyes. If all the prisoners were like her, we wouldn't have any staff left here to look after them.
You must have come across prejudice outside, Mrs. Brooks.
Yes, of course. But I'm not in a position of authority over people outside.
When people are rude to you, how do you deal with it?
They don't really bother me. I feel that they are inferior to me because they are so prejudiced.
Ah, well, that's the answer, isn't it? Now, we have a lot of coloured officers here, and nothing stops them from doing a good job.
I was beginning to feel I ought to resign.
First 3 months I was here, I was going to resign every other day. I still feel like doing it occasionally.
It's a bit early to make a decision like that, Mrs. Brooks. After all, you've hardly begun yet.
Thank you.
Would you ask Mrs. Spencer to pop in and see me?
Yes.
Thanks. Mrs. Spencer was expecting a bit much, wasn't she? Mine anyone's confidence.
Well, it is her first go as a training officer. Probably got a bit over-enthusiastic.
Right,
right then, girls. Walk straight, walk tall. Say to yourself, Southwick is the best. Southwick is the beautiful.
Southwingers are beautiful. Southwingers are ever so
And Southwingers have work to do, please, ladies.
Yes.
Are you all right, Joyce?
I'm all right now, but I felt I had to tell them I was thinking of resigning.
What for?
I had some trouble this morning with Cindy.
Oh.
They were very nice to me. They said nobody could get on with every prisoner.
What sort of trouble?
Cindy wouldn't get on with the work when I asked her to.
Wouldn't she? And she shouldn't be smoking during working hours.
But you're not resigning, are you?
Well, they've told me to try it for a bit longer.
Stop rolling that fag and get on with your work, girl. You heard what I said. Get on with your work.
You what?
Get hold of your mop and help the others.
Oh, bloody well done! Cindy, we could do with some help. There's a lot to be done. Me and Moll would like you to work with us so it can get done right.
Okay.
That's it, love. You won't regret it.
I don't know how you do it.
Well, it was that other prisoner, really. Myrtle.
The way she cooperated with you.
They're not all bad through and through, are they? She's one of the good ones.
It's better be coming out of the oven in 7 minutes exactly. Now, not 1 minute longer. You know what happened the last time? Now, come on. Vamos.
I saw what happened last time I was on duty. How do you mean? I saw the parcel you had from the man. And if it happens again today, I'm afraid you'll be in trouble. You've got no feelings, have you? Any of you? Don't you think I didn't report you last time? Oh, all right. But we're getting married, miss. We've met him before. Oh, no, only by letter. We've never spoke. We've never spoke? Well, we've both decided to go straight. I get out of here in 2 weeks' time and I'm going to get a job and save up till he gets out next year. And the very next day we'll get a special license. But you can't marry a man. Oh, he writes lovely letters, miss. And he puts a bar of chocolate in. That's all. I'll show you. And it's only for 2 more weeks, miss. I've never been so happy in the whole of my life.
Stay where you are, you two. Drop your loads on the ground. Right, out, both of you. Come on. Take them both out of here.
Get out.
And that one's a report for sure.
Right, Chef.
Right, girl, empty your pockets.
It's her. She told you I'll kill her. She wanted us to lose our remission. I lose all of mine now, killing her. She's ruined my life.
Telephone to Southwick. Get Mrs. Spencer or somebody.
I'll ruin hers. Ow!
How could that have happened?
There's some funny characters about.
But they wouldn't.
Wouldn't they?
She killed him.
Who?
You did.
Why would I do that, Cindy? I like goldfish.
You don't like me, though. You killed him because I called you names.
Don't be balmy.
Barmy, you calling me mental?
It is, you know.
It's people who throw goldfish on the floor what are mental to spite other people.
I brought some plants for them, didn't I? So that they'd be healthy.
Nah, stop me looking after them.
I'm not with you.
Showing off.
I thought it would please you.
Please me? A screw going around trying to please me? Strangled me goldfish, but she did it to please me.
All right, girls, get on with your work. And you too, Cindy. There's an emergency in the kitchen, so you'll have to hold the fort for a few minutes.
Oh,
There's only the 2 cleaners to keep an eye on, and Miss Sweeney will be back quite soon.
fine. First time we've been in charge.
It's a funny feeling.
It's nice. Pity there's only 2 mangy ones to look after, though.
What are we going to do about the fish?
We'll tell Mrs. Spencer when she gets back, then they'll find out who did it.
What's wrong with Cindy?
When she was a kid, her mum gave her peas one day when she wanted beans or something. It's always blamed on the parents. I don't believe it. Some people are born naturally wicked.
She's not wicked.
Has
Oh,
Miss
do you
Spencer
want?
gone, Miss Waring?
You saw her?
You're in charge, Miss Waring.
Well,
I wonder, could I have a word with you, please, miss?
of course.
Could you tell me the time, please?
Time? Nearly 3:15.
Oh, dear. I thought it might be. I was just going to remind Mrs. Spencer. She always calls me, but she seemed in such a hurry I didn't like to bother her.
What about?
Oh, I don't know if you could help. It's arranged with the hospital between 3 and 15 every Thursday.
What is?
I talked to my husband. He can't come and see me. It's his heart. They bring the phone to him on the trolley, you know. He says to me every time, I look forward to this 5 minutes all the week mental. They only let us have 5 minutes.
You talk to him on the phone?
Oh, I'm not allowed to dial a number or anything. It has to go through the prison operator. Mrs. Spencer just goes into her office and she says, 60543434, please. And then she times me for 5 minutes. She's very sharp, is Mrs. Spencer. I don't mean I expect you to let me have more than 5 minutes.
And you won't be disappointed.
Oh, Miss Waring.
No, Myrtle. 5 minutes, not a second more.
Miss Waring.
Cindy, can I have a word?
Get out!
I only wanted to say I'm much to blame as you.
What are you on about?
I shouldn't have brought the plants to the fish.
The fish have got nothing to do with you.
No. And if I hadn't interfered, you'd have gone on looking after them ever so well.
Would I killed them.
I know. But if I bring someone...
I don't want no more. Every time I get something I like, it gets took off me.
I'm sorry.
Keep telling myself, keep saying, don't show them you like anything, they'll take it off you. Just bloody well hate everything, they'll leave you with everything you hate.
I only wanted to help.
Oh, it's been going on since I was 4. They took our mum away because they said she wasn't fit to look after us. She was, though. And then when I started having me tempers, and they took me brother away because I had to go to this special school. He stayed in the home. There was this dog at the home. He'd play tag. Oh, they had him put to sleep. They said he snapped. He never snapped me. That's when I said to myself, just hate everything, just bloody well hate everything. But I couldn't.
Of course you couldn't.
But I've got to!
No, you haven't.
There was this girl in Borstal. I loved her. They got to know about it.
One day you'd meet the right man. You're lucky. You've got a lot of love to give.
I knew you would, Alfred. I said to the officer, he'll feel better the minute he hears my voice. Oh, you do say some things.
What is going on here?
Miss Waring allowed me to use the telephone, Miss Chief.
Where is Mrs. Spencer?
She went to the kitchen, Chief. She left us in charge.
Oh, you are quick off the mark, aren't you, Myrtle?
I thought it would be good for Miss Waring, Chief.
What would?
Miss Waring looks down on us prisoners a little bit, Chief.
Oh, I see. And you thought you'd improve her opinion of you by taking advantage of her newness in the service.
Yes, Chief. I don't think it's a punishable offence. Not for me, at any rate.
Out! Vamos!
Yes, Chief. Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Miss Waring.
I'm sorry, Miss Waring. You have been pushed in at the deep end, haven't you?
I want a beautiful morning. I want a beautiful day. Go to your room and shut the door. Where is everybody?
Mr. Daft, really, innit? Thinking so much of goldfish.
It isn't after at all. I'll get some more.
Mrs. Brooks!
Bloody hell.
Can I have a word with you, please, Mrs. Brooks?
Yes, of course.
Never, just never lay a hand on a prisoner unless there's another officer present. And then only when it's absolutely necessary to restrain that prisoner.
She was upset
She
that...
could say anything. That you were making love to her. Oh, yes. Or striking her.
That's silly.
It's happened to officers before. And with a girl like Cindy, just touching her is enough to make her attack you.
Cindy wouldn't do that.
Oh, wouldn't she? Miss Lester's nearly been carved up by Veronica. And Veronica never attacked anyone before. South Wing, Mrs. Spencer. Oh? Oh, goodness. Yes, Chief. Miss Waring in 10 minutes. Right. Miss Waring.
Mrs. Spencer?
What did Myrtle mean, Miss Waring, when she said she thought you looked down on the prisoners?
Dunno. She's been so helpful. I can't understand.
In what way did she help?
Well, the other day when I stopped Mole Whistler stealing from the shop, Myrtle soothed her down when she seemed like being quite nasty. And Cindy, when I told her to get on with her work, Myrtle told her to obey me.
She was just getting your confidence before she tripped you up. She's one of the best confidence tricksters we've got at the moment.
But why did she want to trip you up, Miss Waring? Why not one of the other new officers? Think about it. It may be that you do give the impression of looking down on the prisoners.
Well, I certainly don't look up to them, sir.
No. Though one can grow to respect many of them as one gets to know them better. Do you find that surprising?
I do.
Well, that's a side of the job you can look forward to then, isn't it? Thank you, Miss Waring.
Thank you, sir.
Sit down, Mrs. Spencer.
I'd never have left the Pouts in charge, sir, if there hadn't been an emergency.
Yes, of course, you had to go to the kitchen because Miss Lester was your responsibility. But so was Miss Waring. This shouldn't have happened, you know.
No, sir.
Quite an afternoon for Pouts, isn't it? One conned and the other threatened with murder.
And the third I find on Cindy's bed, stroking her face and hair.
There are certain fundamentals you can teach. And I would have thought that not touching the prisoners and not allowing them telephone calls were two of them. Well, I suppose you have only had them for a week.
You've got to think yourself back into being a Pout again, Mrs. Spencer.
Yes, sir. It was a long time ago.
Yes, I know.
Sir, Miss Lester's here, and she would like a word with you.
Oh? Well, ask her to come in, will you? Sit down, Chief.
Miss Lester.
Come in, Miss Lester. Sit down, please. Mrs. Spencer said you wanted to see me.
Yes, sir, I do. I've realised that this is not the job for me, Mr. Radley.
I know you've had a frightening experience.
Oh, it's not the violence that's bothering me. I'm not surprised about that.
Oh?
Not in the least. No, my problem is that I knew she was having parcels from the man.
You knew?
Yes, and I know that I should have reported her, but I just couldn't.
Why not?
She's a grown woman. I feel it's treating her like a child to punish her for having letters and presents from a man.
The letters might have been making arrangements for an escape. And the parcels could have contained something undesirable, drugs, for instance.
And you have been told the prison rules are to be kept.
Yes, but not petty ones. It seems to me wrong that something that's accepted as normal on the outside should be treated as an offence in prison.
Yes, I often regret it myself, Miss Lester, but our first consideration must be security. Everything else is secondary to that.
I had hoped to help prisoners.
Yes? In what way?
It is not possible to do people good while you're locking them up and ordering them about.
It is, you know. You should ask the prisoners.
No, it just depends how you go about it. Now, that's where a prison officer's personality comes into it.
Well, then it's just not in me to spy on people and report on them. I find it humiliating.
Oh, of course, if that's the way you regard the job...
I'm glad I came. It's made me see what's needed. Far more welfare work, that's what I want to do.
And if you go to the general office, they'll show you the resignation drill.
Yes. Well, thank you.
Ask Mrs. Spencer.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
1.5 resignations out of 3.
Not much of a day, is it?
Quite a day. Oh, cheer up. You learn from your mistakes in this job.
Well, I'm going to be brilliant then.
I don't think I'll ever be able to learn it all.
Nobody ever does, not if they're in the job for 30 years. Anyway, your mistakes are considered more my fault than yours at this stage.
Poor you.
We'd better do better for your sake then.
I'd appreciate that.
If I don't pretty soon, I think I'll just have to give it up.
You know, it's a funny thing about this job, but always, when you're just on the point of resigning, something really nice happens. And you think it's the most wonderful job in the world. Come on. All right, you cleaners, come and get your tea before the rush. Mrs. Brooks, you don't like the sausages, 3 apiece. On Miss Waring the jam, 1 good spoonful each. And see they only have 1 pat of butter.
And crispy ones, can I? And, will you book me to see the governor tomorrow? I'm going to ask if I can buy some more goldfish and tell her why.
You are?
Yeah, I mean, I did think about what you said. But if I bought them, I think it'd be better.
That's great.
Yeah?
Great.
Yeah, well, it ain't all that great.
Good evening, Miss Waring.
Evening.
You're training beautifully, Miss Waring. Beautifully.
And a dollop of jam right on top of it, Miss Waring.
On the sausages?
Smack in the middle. Every roast sausages with jam. Lovely.
You're very right.